A few months ago, I teased of a new lightweight operating system, a new preemptive 64-bit operating system built from the ground up, built in machine language without any code reuse. And that new operating system, called BOS, just launched today. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. Subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, gear reviews, or tutorials. And to make things just a little bit more exciting, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. Details are in the description down below, or you can watch this video here, but please look at the terms and conditions as there are some age and location restrictions. And now for some very big news. Now this might seem like a departure from my regular content, but what I have to bring you is in fact very big news. When the world got sick, I doubled down and built a YouTube channel that delivers news, rumors, gear reviews, and tutorials on all things camera related. David Brossato, my friend and colleague, well, he went in a completely different route. He built a brand new operating system from scratch. Yeah, that's right. He didn't borrow any code from any other operating systems or libraries. Every bit of code, all drivers, were written by David Brossato in machine language. He spent countless months reading through RFCs to understand how to set up the network stack, manage memory, and you have no idea how long it took to get something as seemingly simple as USB to work. Now, something that we take for granted consumed many months of research, trial and errors before everything worked. And if you ever get a chance to speak to him, go ahead and ask him why it was so hard. But if you do read through an RFC, you're going to understand the scope of creating an operating system from scratch. The end result is one of the smallest operating systems in the world. It's lightweight and has low overhead, leaving the system resources to the applications. And startup, are you ready for this? It takes a mere 3 seconds. It's so small and efficient that it can boot off a USB stick. So why go through all the effort of creating a whole new operating system from the ground up? I mean, after all, we've got Windows, right? Mac OS, and literally hundreds upon hundreds of flavors of Unix and Linux. Well, Brossato wanted to create a platform for purpose-specific applications. An operating system that gives developers the ability to set up a bespoke or custom environment for each application. Nothing's hidden. All resources are at the developer's disposal. BOS is not designed as an operating system for us mere mortals to run highly intensive video editors like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut, the latest games, complex spreadsheets, or CAD systems. It's not meant for people to read emails, browse the internet, create documents, or any other office work. BOS is architected as a base platform for a product or project. It's ideally suited for the Internet of Things. It's designed for products that deliver very specific tasks. How will BOS evolve? Will it become the next big operating system for an ever-connected world? The project's very new. It's raw. It's evolving. It just got launched into the world. I'm reminded by Linus Torvalds when he first introduced Linux to the world. Spread the word to your friends. Try BOS out. Create new applications and provide constructive feedback that can be used to improve the operating system. I've included a link to the project on GitHub. Download the OS and play around with it. And now, let's go behind the scenes. It shouldn't be any surprise that in this episode of Behind the Scenes, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the operating system. Now, at the beginning, I did say that when the world got sick, I decided to start a YouTube channel and David started building an operating system, and that's more of a half-truth. I actually started developing this channel about 3 or 4 months before the world got sick, and David had actually been working on the operating system for a few years. But without all that transportation going back and forth, it gave him more time to double down and work on the operating system. But I can remember back many years ago when he first said he was developing an operating system, and I just thought of the scope of that. Let me give you an idea of my background in computers. I actually started coding back in, I think it was around 1981. And I had a Commodore VIC-20. It had 5K of memory, and I could only access 3.5K of that. And you didn't have a lot of choices for coding back then. You certainly didn't have anything with color-coded scripting or anything like that to help you. It was either BASIC, CP/M, or machine language. And at the time, machine language was pretty common. And I started coding in machine language. It is not the most friendly language at all, and it's certainly not forgiving. But as computers got better, I went on to the Commodore 64 and the Amiga, and once I got the Amiga, I realized that, I didn't have to develop applications anymore. I didn't have to develop anything with machine language. I still scripted. I produced a CRM-based application in the 90s when I worked for a startup company. So I understand the architecture of developing. I understand the architecture of chip design. I'm very familiar with the 6502 and of course the Amiga custom chips. And even the whole chemical process of building out microprocessors. I'm fascinated by it, but I'm fascinated by science in general. And computers is a way of literally taking science and just wrenching out as much detail as you can to produce something quite incredible. And Apple's latest M processor is another example of taking technology from the past and building something better. So when David told me he was building an operating system, it kind of flashed me back to 1981 when I first started coding in machine language. Unlike the Amiga, which was coded in C++, David was building it in machine language. That just kind of struck me, and I realized him doing that, this was serious. He wasn't borrowing anybody else's code. And I'm familiar with RFCs. If you haven't looked at RFCs, it's a request for comment. There's thousands of these things. So when somebody was looking at building the internet, they had a request for comment. They build out all the specifications for things like protocols like TCP/IP, UDP, everything. And in there lays the rules to go by. I know they're called requests for comments, but they really are the rules. They're the standards on how we connect. So for example, if you want to build a USB driver, you have to understand the different RFCs out there. And it's a very, very technical, they're very, very technical documents. And over time, when we were driving back from meetings, every now and then I'd ask, how's the operating system going? And sure enough, there would be one advancement on another. And seeing it work within a virtual machine was pretty impressive. To see it boot for the first time, to see networking work. When I was certified as a Cisco engineer, I remember one of the things I still remember to this date is the OSI layer and all the different layers. I used to be pretty technical. I was a senior systems and network administrator for one of the top private equity banks in Canada, and I even at one point, for those of you who understand some of the stuff, and I know this is not my normal content, but this gives you a bit of behind the scenes of where I came from. But when I was working for the bank, I actually had my own AS400 in my house, an AS400 in my house. And these are, people used to call them big iron because, well, back in the days, IBM made these big mainframes that were made out of iron. And this thing was heavy. I don't think it was iron. I think it was stainless steel. But the tower weighed about 100 pounds. It was a heavy beast of a machine. So I can appreciate, while I wouldn't go about developing an operating system, and while I wouldn't go that deep into coding, I can certainly appreciate it. So as David kept talking about this, I personally kept encouraging him. I could just imagine what it would be like to release something like this onto the world. And I told him, I said, look, if you do this, this could be the next chapter in your life. And even if you release it as open source, the consulting you could do, you could get into seminars and all sorts of things. I mean, look at Linus. I keep saying his last name wrong, so I'm just going to call him Linus now. But where he is at today and just the number of doors that this opens, it's very impressive. And so the reason why I'm doing this video is David just released it. Well, probably by the time you're watching this video, it's yesterday, but I'm recording this on Sunday, the day that he released it. And I think it was around 6 o'clock or 6 p.m. on the 21st of January, 2021. And I think it's really, really exciting. So the reason why I'm releasing this video, which has very little to do with video, cameras, photography, is to help spread the word. Maybe of 1,000 people watching this video, maybe 2 or 3 people might be connected to somebody that would find this very interesting. If you're doing anything to do with the Internet of Things, if you're developing content for that, this operating system is something you probably want to take a look at. If you know people that just love tweaking under the hood, they love coding, they love hacking, let them know about this operating system. I've got links down below in the description to GitHub where you can download the app. He's got documentation as well. But yeah, I'm not kidding. I think this is very big news. I see the potential in it. David, if you met him in regular life, he's a very, very smart individual. He's one of those people that can walk into a situation, understand the scenario, analyze it very quickly, and offer up his synopsis, and of course options and recommendations. He's a very, very sharp character, and you know, it's my pleasure to be able to work with him. But I'm really impressed with this accomplishment. I mean, I've met a lot of very interesting people over the years, but I've never met anybody that I've known to actually build their own operating system. That's just something completely remarkable. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win 2 Angelbird 128GB AV Pro MK2 V90 SD cards, along with a dual UHS-2 SD card reader. Or you could also win a Ulanzi LED light package with accent lights, underwater lights, and various flat panel lights to help you light up your subject. Or it could also be used as a starter kit for your own YouTube channel. And then I'll be offering up different prizes every 10,000 subscribers until this channel reaches 100,000 subscribers, at which point I'll be awarding a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. And on that bombshell, well, actually, that's not really a bombshell for this video. The operating system is, and on that bombshell, thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.